our website. So we have a website. This is my son, Chance, beautiful dog, golden doodle, that I love. And essentially, we have a form if anybody is interested in stud services with Chance, right? So this would then populate into Salesforce. This is our form. As you can see, there's a little customization here. Good day, good day. My name is Barry Kaboo, and today we're looking into Salesforce's feature called Web to Lead. So essentially, Web to Lead, if you don't know, is a feature out of the box by Salesforce that allows you to post HTML code on your website, like essentially a lead form, and you're able to capture leads, and that data then be funneled into your Salesforce org. So as always, we'll just take a quick look at some documentation, and then we'll do a quick demo on configuration, and then showcase the feature. So really quickly, let's dive in. Automatically generate up to 500 leads per day with the prospecting data from your company's website visitors. When you set up Web to Lead, Salesforce captures prospects who provide contact information. You can also redirect prospects to other web pages that are critical to campaign success. So that is an intro. Let's take a look at the permissions needed. You'll need customized application, modify all data, and send email and access activity. We're leveraging a system admin for this configuration, so we have all these permissions enabled. If you want to use spam filter, you must use reCAPTCHA key pair. Keep in mind, reCAPTCHA is optional. So reCAPTCHA helps fight against spam in your web lead form. So let's take a look into Salesforce, right? And let's look at configuration, right? So all we would do is go into setup, and then we have the option to type in Web to Lead. Once we're at Web to Lead, we'll see our Web to Lead settings. I'll go ahead and edit it, but as you can see, I've already configured these. First, of course, you'll want to enable it. You do have the option to require reCAPTCHA verification. Since this is a demo, I will not enable reCAPTCHA, but it's definitely recommended to filter out spam if you're using this in a live environment. Default lead creator, essentially who would be the lead, who holds the value for lead creation when created through Web to Lead. I currently have it set to myself, but your live org, you have it either to a queue or whatever essentially meets your business rules or business needs. And then we have default response template, which I'll leave blank. But essentially, if you have an auto response rule based off leads that are created, you could add in a default response template. So once that is enabled, you would just then click create web form, and essentially you'll have prerequisites here on the fields that you would like available. So I think this is pretty neat. As you can see, all the fields that are available on the lead object, we can enable and add to selected fields that we wanted to see on the form. And then we have return URL, which essentially is the return page that will be posted after clients or prospects or leads select submit on your form. This is the return URL that it would be navigated to. I just populate it with a test URL and include reCAPTCHA. As I stated, I'm not going to use reCAPTCHA in this use case, but if you did, you would want to include that there. So let's click generate. So after we click generate, we see that we now have HTML code that holds the data, the HTML for our form for Web to Lead. If you're familiar with HTML, you do know that you could add a lot of customization and layer this to meet your business branding through like CSS and HTML, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of flexibility here, but I think the most important is like your org ID and within your HTML, make sure that's correct. So I click finish because I already have a site set up. So since we have our HTML code set, let's dive into our website. So we have a website. This is my son, Chance, beautiful dog, golden doodle, that that I love. So now, as you can see, we're currently at our web to lead form. This is the form that I created for a chance to stud service. Essentially, you could come in and, as you can see, we have the key fields that I deem as valuable. But for your business logic, you can add whatever fields that make sense for you and your org. So I'll just populate this data really quickly. Let's just say, for instance, I am interested in a service with chance. I'll just put down any Gmail. And yeah, let's keep going. Let's do a phone number. Let's just say Tampa, Florida for city, state, and let's just say United States for country. So populate this data. Let's click submit. And as you can see, we're actually taken to a thank you screen. Thank you for your interest in study service with chance. We'll be in contact shortly. So now let's dive into Salesforce where the magic happens. And as you can see, we have our lead here that we just created. So let's look into showcase created date just to verify that. So as you can see, created date here. This is Salesforce's web to lead. This is our current lead. So this is the functionality. Very great for business users or business teams that leverage websites and like to capture data via websites. There are a few things to note about web to lead. I believe there's a limit of 500 per day of leads that you can have. Also to note that there's other configurations that you can have, like if you want to validate the email address, you could use like a validation rule to make sure it's an email format. Same with phone, for data integrity purposes. And also, as we stated earlier, like you can have a default email that's sent to leads to reach out to them and, let them know that they've been connected with your business. So this is another video of a Salesforce tool and feature that I covered. If you check out the video, I greatly appreciate it. I would greatly appreciate a like and comment, subscribe. Best regards. Bye.